Pornography's aesthetic, beauty beyond the erotic. Pornography is a complex cultural phenomenon that has sparked impassioned debate for centuries. Critics condemn pornography as obscene, decadent media that promotes the objectification and commodification of human beings. Supporters celebrate pornography as free artistic expression reflecting natural human desires. When examining pornography through an aesthetic lens, profound questions arise about beauty, eroticism, love, objectification, and the deeper meanings that this media may hold. At its most basic level, pornography involves the explicit depiction of sexual subjects and acts for the purpose of sexual arousal and stimulation. Most would agree that pornography's primary aim is to titillate and provoke sexual excitement in the viewer. However, might pornography also contain deeper artistic, philosophical, emotional, or interpersonal resonance beyond mere carnal provocation? Can pornography depict intimacy, affection, vulnerability, and love between partners, or is it limited to objectification and hedonistic sensation? These questions have no simple answers when evaluating porn through an aesthetic and philosophical perspective. From a classical aesthetic viewpoint centered on beauty, taste, and artistry, pornography seems far removed from traditional art forms like painting, sculpture, dance, or music. Much pornography accentuates graphic physical acts over nuanced context, genuine emotion, and human connection. The mainstream pornographic aesthetic emphasizes maximum visibility of body parts and penetration over factors like mood, imagination, and relationship dynamics. However, this does not necessarily mean that pornography is completely devoid of artistic merit or deeper human meaning. The history of erotic art and literature shows that humans have long been fascinated by explorations of sexuality and desire through artistic media. Erotic paintings, drawings, and sculptures have existed across cultures for thousands of years, depicting every imaginable sexual act and fetish in myriad styles. From ancient Japanese shunga art to the Kama Sutra's depictions of exotic sexual positions, the cultural history of erotic art suggests an innate human impulse to illuminate and catalog our sexual realities through creative expression. In evaluating the aesthetics of pornography, it is illuminating to consider what separates raw, uninspired depictions of sex from successful evocations of eroticism and desire. Eroticism implies engagement of a person's aesthetic sensibility, imagination, and taste to arouse desires beyond base physical stimulation. Erotic art and literature use human creativity inspired by sexuality to craft images and narratives that arouse on psychological and emotional levels. Writers like Anne Rice and photographers like Helmut Newton fuse sensuality with imagination, emotion, mystery, tension, and grace in their erotic work. Their artistry transcends literal depictions of sex to explore its atmospheric, psychological, and interpersonal dimensions. However, much of today's commercial pornography lacks these touches of erotic creativity and imagination. Mass-produced porn prioritizes maximum visibility of body parts and physical acts over more nuanced aesthetics of desire. It tends to package human intimacy into soulless mechanistic rituals with minimal sense of passion, emotional connection, or creativity. In this sense, beauty and a richer notion of eroticism seem decoupled from the aesthetics and dynamics of mainstream porn. Yet this decoupling is not an inevitable feature of porn as a broad creative medium. Many alternative adult filmmakers strive to reinfuse pornography with erotic creativity and imagination. Independent feminist and queer adult filmmakers create porn that foregrounds genuine pleasure, intimacy, and affection between partners. They utilize careful cinematography, editing, and music to craft porn films with compelling narratives and atmospheric visual styles. Other independent studios like Four Chambers in Australia produce highly stylized, beautifully shot porn films exploring surreal, comically absurd, and cinematically vivid sexual scenarios. These examples demonstrate pornography's capacity to fuse evocative erotic aesthetics with the carnal when made with artistry, creativity, and psychological nuance. In considering pornography's meanings and artistic possibilities, it is insightful to contemplate the differences between objectification and eroticization. Most mainstream porn tends to objectify human actors, reducing their humanity down to body parts and orifices in the service of maximal genital stimulation. The subjective interior lives of partners are largely erased. Conversely, eroticization involves engagement with the whole person sexually, emotionally, and psychologically. A gaze of eroticization perceives a partner's subjective arousal, personality, desires, humor, passions, and flaws as integral parts of their sexual being. Some artists and producers aim to shift the pornographic gaze from detached objectification to eroticization and humanization of the people depicted. When pornography manages this shift, it can reveal rich new dimensions to our understanding of human intimacy and sexuality. These perspectives also relate to questions of love and relationships in pornographic media. In most mainstream commercial porn, sex is framed as a purely recreational exchange of physical pleasure between people who have just met and will part ways immediately after the act. Sex is presented as a largely impersonal transaction devoid of intimacy, affection, commitment, or meaning between partners. From an aesthetic perspective, this lends much mainstream pornography a detached, sterile, and lifeless quality, even as bodies enmesh athletically on screen. The real mysteries and emotions of human sexuality feel hollowed out, leaving just sweaty mechanics and semen. This reflects a broader tendency in modern Western culture to idealize individual pleasure, convenience, and experiences over interpersonal bonds and meaning. However, for most people, the most memorable and satisfying sexual experiences flow not from anonymous hookups, but from loving relationships cultivated over time with mutual trust, affection, and knowledge of a partner's heart and body. By largely removing the contexts of human relationships and intimacy from pornography, much mainstream porn reflects and promotes an atomized, detached vision of human sexuality. Yet again, this reflects priorities within the commercial porn industry more than innate limitations of pornographic media itself. Pornography has the capacity to depict the joys, challenges, and complexities of intimacy. It can incorporate qualities like affection, tenderness, humor, vulnerability, trust, and true partnerships between subjects along with sexual heat. Moving beyond the superficial and transactional toward the intimate and relational reveals rich new dimensions through which pornography can explore our erotic realities and deepest human bonds. In summary, the aesthetics and deeper significance of pornography remain issues of lively debate. Critics condemn porn for objectifying people and separating sex from intimacy and love. But supporters argue that as a creative medium, porn has radical potential to enlighten, empower, and reveal truths about our multifaceted sexualities through artistic expression. Pornography's detractors and champions both hold pieces of the puzzle. Pornography encompasses the highest and basest of human creative possibilities around sex and intimacy. Like any human artistic endeavor, pornography can degrade or uplift based on the ethics, empathy, imagination, and artistry of its creators and viewers.